Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Adam's TV Podcast. I am your host, Adam Samuel. Today, we're coming to you at a bit of a different time. We've got a lot more American Idol to cover, so we are here on a Saturday night. It is March 10th, I think. I got my dates right, but we are going to be covering.
You were wrong.
I was wrong. Was I
March
close?
9th.
March 9th. My dates are all messed up, but anyway, we're here to cover America's Got Talent, episode 2. Season 17, the auditions. What did I say?
America's Got Talent. You know what? Let's just start the episode again right now, since we've already made two hilarious mistakes.
All right, we are covering American Idol, episode 2 of the audition. It's funny because just a few minutes ago, we were talking about America's Got Talent in the pre-show. I have this notebook that I use for covering all the shows, and it goes all the way back to America's Got Talent. But anyway, we are talking about American Idol today, the auditions. Joining me is my co-host, Eric. How you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing good. This is overall, I'd give this, we'll get into it, but this episode it left me completely whelmed.
Whelmed? I disagree. Personally, I really enjoyed this episode. I think I enjoyed it more than I did last week's episode.
I didn't really enjoy either, but last week was a little bit better for me.
There was some good talent this week. I'm going to say, just going through, there was one contestant that was released in the build-up to the episode that was kind of talked about, very hyped up, who I actually really, really enjoyed and might be one of my favorite contestants of the episode. And I just want to take a moment because on my screen, I just got a message from someone in our chat, Catherine Turner. Hi, it's Katie's mom, Kathy. Enjoy watching you.
Really?
That's really cool. Hi, Kathy. Your daughter's really talented, and she was awesome when she was on our show.
And please bring her back for us.
Yes. Huge fans of Katie Turner. We always talk highly about her. If you're keeping up with the show, Kathy, let us know what you think about these past couple episodes of Idol. But anyway, let's try to get into the topic of the episode and talk about the contestants. So, like I said, we had a whole bunch of contestants that auditioned. Got to tell you, I think of all the contestants, there were 12 auditions that were fully highlighted. I think once again, 11 made it through. Am I correct? I think so, right?
I think you're right about that.
Which I talked about this last week. This is the trend moving forward for this season. I'm totally okay with it because I love when we get the more legitimate talent. For me, it feels like American Idol is almost a little bit taking itself more seriously this season. Is that a vibe you're getting? This is something I'm kind of observing.
I think it's a continuation from last season, though. I mean, I think it's the fact that you're on ABC, the family-friendly network, and you can't just be exploiting people on ABC because ABC is Disney, and they have all the Disney Plus promotion. And I think honestly, ABC is probably one of the best things that's happened to Idol in a weird way. Because I know everyone before ABC was moving to Idol, moved to ABC. Everyone was like, oh my God, this is going to be awful. Because I was worried about it because I've seen ABC's prior reality shows like Rising Star with Kesha, Duets, which was an interesting concept. And they've never had a hit. And, well, Dancing with Stars is a hit. But they've never had a singing competition that did well for them. And so it's nice to see them take Idol and do good by it so far. So
Rising Star was the season with The Wall. Am I correct?
The one with The Wall is really a show with The Wall, and the guy who won that was
Jesse Kinch. He was really talented.
He was good, but
he was really good. I remember watching that season.
I took like 50 points off of him because he did Billie Jean like David Cook, and all the judges completely ignored it, despite the fact that the producer of the show was a producer of Idol when David did that. So
pish tosh, Eric. We got.
What did you say?
Pish tosh, like you know what I mean, like
pish posh. But
oh well, I messed up. That you can say it better than I can.
Pish tosh is the episode title now.
All right.
It's the leader right now.
All right. So anyway, let's kind of go through the headlines. The biggest headline kind of came before the episode even aired. A few days before the audition show was aired, it was on a Wednesday. We got this audition that was dropped on Facebook, not Facebook, on YouTube, and I saw it on Reddit. A lot of people were talking about it, and they were calling it the best American Idol audition ever. And it was from a contestant who we can maybe talk about early. We'll give him a little bit of a sneak peek and talk about him now. His name is Alejandro Aranda. He's also known by his YouTube handle. I think it's Scary Pool Party, which I don't know if you're familiar with that name, but they released this video, and a lot of people, there was a lot of controversy. Some people were saying, "Oh, this is not at all the best audition. This is kind of disregarding all the past seasons." Eric, what did you kind of make of that audition video and the title?
I don't think it was even the best audition of the night, personally. And that's kind of problematic. I mean, my problem is that these judges and these producers are masters of hyperbole. Like Simon
They
is out
always
levels
are.
of hyperbole.
They always are, though. Like,
yes, but it seems particularly bad with this panel and these producers. Because Katy Perry handing out to everybody, "Oh, you're top 10, you're top 10." And then half of people don't make the top 10. That's problematic, and that's actually mean, I think. That's mean. Because you're setting people up to say, "Oh, I'm going to make the top 10. Katy Perry said so." And then Katy Perry cuts you before you make top 14.
I guess I can see. I see what you're saying, but I will say, like, when we get to Alejandro, I have a lot of thoughts on him. Of all the auditions, he has a full page in my notebook. So there's a lot to talk about. But straight off the bat, just I want to say, I really, really enjoyed that audition. I actually went and downloaded the song that he performed, and I listened to it a lot, and it's a really, really good song. But anyway, we will get to that a little later. Another topic I wanted to bring up to Eric is, this is something that I'm starting to get to notice storm clouds over the American Idol brand. The ratings. Can we talk about the ratings really quickly? Because I'm a little worried a bit about them. They're kind of not doing as great as we might be hoping. Do you think I have reason to be worried?
Honestly, no. At this point, I mean, not yet. I mean, the first episode was on par with last season's average. Second episode was on a completely random night that Idol's never aired on in years. And so I think the ratings doing fine, honestly. The total number of viewers is like 8 million per episode, which is great. So that's like 2 million more of an X Factor had. That was X Factor second season. X Factor got renewed for season 3 with about 8 million viewers. So
don't bring that comparison.
I know. I'm not. That comparison means that Idol is going to be renewed next year and then it'll be gone. But sorry,
I remember that season, that last season of the X Factor with Jeff Goot and Alex and Sierra and Mario Lopez saying goodbye, and I think he was kind of hinting that it was going to be the series finale.
No,
like I think they did. It was
Simon at that point was thinking.
Oh, it was Simon who said something. He said like.
No, he didn't say anything. None of them said anything. They all thought the show would be coming back next year until it wasn't.
Catherine Turner in the comments says ratings are actually better than last year, same time. I guess I was wrong. I just looked at the ratings that were posted on MJ's, and I thought they were lower. I guess I'm wrong then, I guess. Is that correct, Eric?
They're on par. At the minimum, they're on par, which is good. So it's clear that the hardcore fans are still with it.
All right. Well, anyway, I guess we should start to get into these auditions, shall we, Eric? Let's start going through some of these contestants. So first off, we have a familiar name to American Idol. It is Courtney Penry. This is a contestant who appeared, I believe it was season 10 or 11. It was one of those Jennifer Lopez seasons with Steven Tyler. And right when they started to talk to her and they said her name, me being such a big fan of those 2 seasons, I know who that is. Like I 100% recognized her after just, not at first, but once they said her name and they said the crazy chicken lady, I 100% recognized who this lady was. I have vivid memories of watching that auditions, for better or worse, but mostly for better. I just, for me, I have said this before. I will continue to say this. I am 100% totally open that I am biased towards returning contestant. I will 100%. always give them the edge in my mind, for better or worse. But that's just how I am. And for me, I love having this girl back because it brings that. I love when it bridges the gaps for me between old Idol and new Idol. It kind of reminds me that Idol, it hasn't totally forgotten its past a little bit. And I just love when returning contestants come back. Eric, what's your opinion on returning contestants?
If they were robbed last time, like Candace Glover was robbed, for example, several times, Serena Joy Crow, those type of people, I love seeing them come back and get what they deserve. If they weren't robbed, iffier. It depends. I don't know if it depends on circumstance. Like if you come back and you sucked last time and you sucked this time, then I'm not really a fan. I'm not automatically a fan just because you're a returning contestant.
I guess that's fair, but it's just me. It's the member berries driving me a little nuts. They found their way into my drinks in the morning. But for me, one of the things that I remember also about her audition was that she also started randomly. I think she started crying when Ryan Seacrest kind of comes up to her and like sits down next to her.
Shouldn't they?
Yeah, I think if I'm remembering correct, because I'm also I've recently rewatched her audition, but I remember this girl. Like that's the crazy thing. And she was 17 then, and now she's 24, which means I've also aged that number of years, which always kind of messes with my head. But during her audition in season, whichever it was, 11 or 10, she kind of had this whole moment where they asked her to like impersonate a chicken, and she totally went for it. And I
think Carrie Underwood did that too.
It was kind of believable. She did a good job. Like her impersonation, I was like, it's an okay impersonation. But I love about this girl so much is that she's one of those rare contestants that comes on American Idol that's kind of painted in a lighter fashion. For me, she seems like she's 100% in on the joke and not being made fun of. She seems like someone who has embraced it. And for me, I love when that happens. Like that is like the diamond in the rough of American Idol. Like when the contestant is kind of being set up as something that the producer may be trying to push her as, and she kind of is something different. And did you get that vibe, Eric, or am I a little crazy?
The vibe that she's in on the joke. I don't know, honestly. I mean, like Luke saying it's a little too much. I'm torn, honestly. I thought she was good. I didn't think she was spectacular. I thought the first song wasn't. I thought the second song was way better than the first. Personally.
Well, let's talk about her performances. She does two performances. One, I think, was Parachute by Chris Stapleton. I wrote down in my notes, this is a very weird, it kind of had a weird vibe for an intro. Like she was trying to kind of fill the void of the band that would be accompanying her. And it did kind of come across a little bit disjointed for me. So I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but she actually was allowed to perform another song. It was Girl Crush. And I wrote down in my notes, much better. This is a good performance. Like with their first performance, I would be maybe a little bit worried, but then this performance was much better. I enjoyed it, and I thought this is a contestant. Just as on a personal basis, I can't even talk. This is someone I would be looking forward to rooting for, just because she represents that older era, and she is kind of talented. I will say her voice is good. It's not amazing, but she's kind of got a little bit of momentum from her previous time. She's going to kind of be banking a little bit on the member berries, but I'm excited. This is one contestant that I'm personally excited about. I'm sure a lot of people aren't going to be otherwise. There's a lot of talent to be like excited about, but for me, one of those connections to those old seasons just warms my heart, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she recently got engaged. She also, I don't know if I'm remembering incorrectly, but she actually looks like she lost weight. Like she looks good. Like I'm excited about her. All I can say. But we did this during our last episode. Eric and I are going to be grading the performances. So as a whole for Miss Courtney Penry, I gave her a B. Eric, what did she get for you?
Great minds think alike. I gave her a B. Yes. And the thing is, this time I actually got time to think about my grades because Adam sprung that on me last episode.
And I apologize for that, but
no more flip-flopping this time. I have my grades written down.
I like this system of the grading, the letters. So yeah, Courtney Penry, definitely someone for me that I'm personally excited about. So let's keep it going, shall we?
Let's talk about Logan Johnson.
Before we do that, we have during the was it before the commercial break? It was one of them where we're getting a lot of hype for this best performance audition from Alejandro. And while I was watching this, I'm starting to get a little nervous because I really liked Alejandro's audition, but if they just keep hyping him up as the best, sooner or later, like that rug is going to be pulled from under. Like I'm worried that he's not going to be able to live up to the hype for his trajectory is starting off here, and it can only it can go up, but I think it's going to be difficult for him.
That's it.
All right.
Honestly, yeah.
All right, let's talk about Logan Johnson. He is 20 years old from Boise, Idaho, and he is kind of our first contestant with a big story of the night. So he has this really terrible backstory where I think it was his older brother was very into drugs, and unfortunately kind of he got into it as well. And he actually recently he said it was 8 months that he's been sober, which is always a good thing. At least he's doing better, so good for him. He performed. What song did he perform? It was Sober by Demi Lovato,
which is all about not being sober.
Eric, what did you think of the performance?
Really sad because the song is about not being sober anymore, and it was released like about a month before Demi overdosed. So not a good song to pick for someone who's sober, I guess. I don't know. He's got a decent voice, nice tone. Again, nothing spectacular, but the thing that this is when the judges really started to get on my nerves, like for masters of hyperbole. And like comparing him to Justin Timberlake, not even the same universe in my view, but I gave him a B minus.
It's funny that you mentioned the song because I actually was thinking the exact same thing. Like it's a little bit of a weird song, like for this story. Like what I can imagine like what the producers who probably gave him that song were thinking, like kind of goes with his story, but it also doesn't, which is just weird.
The sad part is the context of the song. The context around the song is really sad.
Yes. I don't know, but for me, I wrote down he has a very quiet voice. It's very It's a nice voice. It's a fine voice, but
nice tone.
I'm a little when it comes to the competition and he starts competing against other contestants, I'm a little worried how adaptable it might be for some of these other songs, some of the theme weeks. I think he is someone who could maybe struggle. He could maybe get swallowed by the big productions of the Idol performances. I think it might be something that he might need to be worried about. Do you share my sentiments, Eric?
I share that for a lot of the contestants, though, honestly. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I'm cautiously optimistic about him because he's in my B range. So, I
mean, he seems like a nice kid. He sings with a lot of emotion, which I think is his strong suit. I think the second he starts he tries for what I'm trying to say is I think he needs to stick to his wheelhouse. Like he needs to pick songs that stick to where he's solid, because if he starts going for the bigger up-tempo things, I think he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. I don't really know if I'm his coach and I'm thinking and I'm trying to plan out an Idol run for him. It's a little difficult to kind of piece something together. My goal is just know your core base, which I think he is. First of all, I just want to say I think he's going to be a favorite with the younger demographic of Idol viewers. He kind of is the Sam Wolf archetype a little bit. Do you agree, Eric?
I think Forever's closer to that, but
yeah. But yeah, that's kind of my advice. What I'm trying to say is just don't shoot too high. I think if you're going to go for, I don't know, I'm rambling a little bit. You can a little bit understand what I'm saying, I hope. But for him, I gave him a B also. 2 Bs in a row.
I gave a B minus.
I like that he had a lot of emotion. Like he has some strength. Like there is something here to work with. Like he has an alleyway where I could see him kind of crafting a bit of a path. But yeah, that's kind of my notes on Logan. He's got a terrible story, but he sings with a lot of emotion, and I think he's going to be popular with key demographic of American Idol viewers. And that's kind of my thoughts on him. Otherwise, shall we keep it going?
Let's go to the island.
Let's go to the island. That should have been the title for this podcast. I had to go ahead and ruin by saying I'm messing up. Pish Posh. How did I mess that up? It is Eddie Island. He is 25 years old. And before he auditioned, when he was just introducing himself, I was thinking to myself, is Island really his last name? But then they eventually cleared it up that is not his name. His last name I think is Liggett. Am I correct? Is that what he said?
I don't know what it was, but we have to talk about the googly eyes on the guitar, because the reason we have to talk about that is because I was literally thinking about googly eyes earlier this morning, because the grocery stores.
It was a premonition.
No, to be clear. So if googly eyes are just make anything adorable as far as I'm concerned. Except for one thing, which is that the grocery stores in Maryland near me, the giant grocery stores, are having like robots that will actually like human-sized robots that are to scan for spilled stuff and basically alert people to clean it up and stuff like that. And they also tell if like stuff needs to be restocked. So because the robots are creepy and human-sized, they put googly eyes on them and a name tag. To say, hey, this robot isn't taking people's jobs and could eventually take over the world.
And taking people away.
It's adorable. I know that's a tangent, but the googly eyes on it make anything adorable.
So what you're saying is is Eddie Island's guitar might be plotting to take over the world.
Sure, let's go with that.
All right. Well, anyway, his intro package, it's very... he's kind of got like Elton John glasses on. He's kind of got this like
that's what it was. I was trying to put that with something. You're right.
We got a commenter. This is for Eric. Grace says, Eric, I know what you're talking about with the robots. That thing creeps the shit out of me.
Yep.
Well, there you go. For Eddie Island, he's got a vibe. I don't know. He's just like, he seems like, I don't really know how to describe him. Like I was watching, he almost seems a little larger than life. Like he's kind of, I can't really put my finger on it, but he's like, he's something. I don't know what it is. Do you know what I'm talking about, Eric, a little bit?
He's something. Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
But I will say, it got kind of annoying with the welcome to the island shtick. I didn't really like it for very long.
I feel like that was just editing magic. Like he probably...
It probably was. He probably didn't say it any more times, but they just edited out all the times when he didn't say it. But okay.
But before he performs, I think it was before he performs. I have it in my notes. My notes are all a little bit out of order. But he says, "I moved to Nashville for a Paramore concert and just decided to stay." I think is what he says. And I wrote down in my notes, that is a new sentence. This dude, he I can't explain. He's like this anomaly. Like he almost doesn't seem like a real person, but he does an audition. He does an original song. What did he think about his original song, Eric?
I thought it was okay. I didn't love it, honestly. I wasn't really a huge fan of his voice, unfortunately. Despite loving everything else about him, the vocals just weren't it for me. And again, Katie's saying like he's a star. He could be, but he's not yet. So, again, the hyperbole just started grating a little bit on me. But yeah, I'm torn.
Yeah, Eddie he was kind of one of the contestants I was really looking forward to going into the episodes. He kind of didn't deliver as much to me. He did mention, though, in his intro package that he is a super fan of American Idol, which, like I said, I'm very biased.
Oh, God, not super fans.
Oh, Maybe he was one of the contestants in the America's Got
He was
Talent.
one of the super fans. Oh God, it all makes sense.
For those of you who didn't keep up with our America's Got Talent podcast, The Champions, the judges of the season were super fans, and the joke is maybe Eddie might have been one of them, but who knows if that's true. But like I said, I'm a little biased towards returning contestants. I'm also a little biased towards super fan contestants and people who say they've been watching the show. For me, I didn't really like the song as much. It didn't work for me. I don't know. There was kind of like a bit of a tremble in his voice. Like it's very weird. It fits that he's kind of this anomaly where I don't know what to make of him yet. I don't know what this is going to lead to. I think though, I feel that he's a very seasoned performer. Like we'll
find out. I mean, he definitely knows his thing, and he's sort of different from anyone else we've seen on the show recently. So, for better or worse, but we'll see. We'll see where this goes. I don't know yet.
I mean, for me, I think he could be a deep threat to win if he goes deep. I think he has a memorable name. He has like an image. It's the Elton John glasses. It's the vibe. He's just. I think he is someone who there's creativity behind like his eyes. Like I imagine like he is someone who has an idol run in him that I would like to see. I think it's going to be creative and it's going to be that anomaly that he is. It's going to be something different. And that's one of the reasons I'm excited about Eddie Island. I didn't love this audition, but I think there's more to come from him. And I'm looking forward to it. Are you, Eric?
Yeah.
All right. There was one note that happened during this audition episode where Katy Perry is judging this performance, and all of a sudden, I think it was while he's singing, she starts writing something. She has like a pen and paper, and she starts like doodling something. And I think it was Lionel or Luke. One of them goes to her and says, "What are you drawing?" And in that moment, I was just brought back to are you a fan of Family Guy, Eric?
I haven't watched it in years. But.
Well, there was one episode where something similar, where basically the news reporter is live on TV and he's just writing something, and all of a sudden he holds up what he's been writing, and he goes, "For those of you who've been wondering what I've been drawing, it's a cat." You see just a picture of a cat, and I was just waiting for Katy Perry to go, "It's a cat." Like, but no,
that would have made the whole thing worthwhile.
Can you imagine? It's like a little picture. It's just I was just really expecting, but no, she just drew a picture of a star, and I was a little let down. Azad in the chat says, "Super fans." Yeah. All right. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Eddie Island. Any final thoughts, or should we keep it going?
Let's keep going.
All right. Next up, we have Kason Lester. He is a strawberry farmer, which is I've never heard, like, I don't think we've never seen this kind of representation of strawberry farmers on American Idol. Have we, Eric, in the past, or is this the first time?
So this is our product placement segment. And since Katie's mom's in the chat, I'm just going to plug Katie's new single, Prom Queen, which is excellent.
All right. Well, Kason
if this doesn't work out, at least he plugged his business.
He is 28 years old. He's from Lebanon, Tennessee, I think is what it is. He performs Holding Her by Chris Jansen. But before he even performs, just as he walks into the room, he has, I don't know if they were his family or I don't know who they were, just bring in treats for the judges. And is this bribery, Eric? Is that what's going on here?
The people who edit the videos on YouTube clearly says bribery. So I don't seem to think it's bribery at the very least.
Eric, what are your thoughts on bribery of the judges? If I was to audition and I walked in with, I don't know, like a cake for each judge, and that was to sway a vote, what are your thoughts on this decision?
I'm torn.
I mean,
it's really smart.
I think it would work, honestly. With Katy Perry, I feel it would definitely maybe work.
I think for Luke it would work, because Luke would say yes to basically anything as far as we can tell.
Catherine Turner in the chat says thank you to Eric. I didn't hear her Katie's new song. What's it about? Can you tell me a little bit about it?
It's sad, but it's good. It's really good. Time actually featured it, I think. So listen to it right after this.
Send it to me. I will listen to it right after this podcast. But going back to Kaysen, bribery, man. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like this maybe wouldn't have flown. Can you imagine like American Idol season 6 where where he comes in and he brings strawberries and Simon Cowell. What would Simon's reaction be? He'd just be like,
I think Simon would just burst out laughing. Like I would do. I would burst out laughing.
It kind of shows the difference in the changing of times of the American Idol judges. But anyway, like I said, he performs Holding Her by Chris Jansen. And what did you think, Eric?
Not really my thing, but closer to the type of country I can tolerate and say Scotty was, for example. Katie needs to stop saying people are top 10 because it happened again. It was fun. And it just drives me crazy when she says it.
At this point, we are going to be through the auditions, and Katy Perry will have already decided our top 10. There will be no need for a Hollywood Week.
20 people she will have said your top 10 too. That's the problem. Because if she can say that to, it's a really good joke that I heard a while ago. I forget who said it, but like, if God told all these people to be president, he's lying to most of them.
You know, but anyway, for me, Kaysen, this was an okay performance. It wasn't the most. It didn't stand out the most. This was kind of more an opening performance than. I'm always a little torn on judging these because this is just the audition. But you know, I would have liked a better song. This kind of it didn't really go anywhere for Kaysen. I think though, if Katy Perry is correct and he is in our top 10, he could be a threat because
country music.
I could see him being another threat with the key demographic of American Idol. I think he is someone who he could get a lot of votes, maybe just without even needing to sing a little bit. Am I maybe correct, Eric?
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, he's got, like I said, he's got a solid voice. It's not the kind of music I'm not the biggest country music fan, but for me, this was a B-. What about you, Eric?
I gave it basically a C+, so we're in the same range.
I also forgot to share my grade for Eddie Island. I gave Eddie also a B. I'm very in the B range.
I gave Eddie actually a B-, but I think he could get to an A- for me.
All right, so that's kind of Kaysen, and shall we keep it going?
Let's keep going.
All right, we get a montage of 3 contestants: Jake, Durkin, Corey, Young, and Betsy Joe. Any standouts for you in this batch?
Well, none of them were uploaded to YouTube, so the answer to that is no.
I mean, I kind of like Betsy a little bit, but like on America's Got, well, you know, not always, not necessarily. Where the montage of death, Eric, it's not necessarily.
Idol's much less brutal about montages. I remember Chris Allen was in a montage, and
Wise
was.
Maddie wasn't in an
Maddie got like half an audition.
Maddie got like a half one, yeah.
Crystal and Lee Wise were both in the montage, in the same montage, actually.
Right back to back, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of Crystal, I'm seeing her live on Thursday night, which I'm excited about. So
Crystal?
Yeah.
Oh, you should invite her to join the podcast with us.
I'm not going to get to talk to her probably, but.
All right. Well, anyway, let's kind of move on to our 5th contestant of the night. Her name is Carly Ryan. She's a 17-year-old singer. She has the story where her mother actually auditioned for American Idol. I think,
and we never thought.
Yeah, she probably was just. I don't know what they said.
She got probably to book call or something, but never,
Yeah,
not in front of us.
But first of all, I love when they do these kinds of stories, which it's the passing of the torch a little bit.
I don't, because first of all, because we never saw her mom audition. Why bother telling us? Because we wouldn't know. We don't know her mom. But the bigger question to me is, why did she wear a guitar when she played the song on piano?
That's what I wrote down. I wrote, this is some weird editing. If I had to guess, what happened is they had her come
2
in.
options for songs, 1 guitar, 1 piano, and they brought her in with the guitar for some stupid reason.
No, I'm gonna guess that she did probably do a song on the guitar, and then they asked her to do a piano song. But yeah, that was so like
it was jarring. I'm like,
it was a little strange.
We just wore a guitar. Remember Caleb's album artwork having the guitar to just wearing it for some reason? He doesn't play guitar.
It's all about the image, but no, I don't think that's what happened here. I think she genuinely probably did an audition on the guitar, and it was just
100%
edited out.
Just poor editing. But.
Yes, but she does a performance. It's an original song. It's called, I think it was "Give Me Back My Heart." She performs it at the piano, and I wrote down on my notes that. Really quickly, flashes of brilliance, but she is a case of promising, but just not ready. Is that a correct assessment for you, Eric?
Her voice is pretty, but I didn't think it was quite strong enough. And if Katie means like vocal power by gears, I agree wholeheartedly. I was surprised that they didn't put her through, though, honestly, because they put everybody through in this round.
This kind of, when I watched this audition, it kind of got me into a little bit of a psychological question, which I was thinking about, and then I thought it was a little bit of a difficult question. But I'm going to pose the question to you, which is, in the olden days of American Idols with Simon Cowell, if a contestant didn't, I'll rephrase this. During like the Jennifer Lopez seasons, if one judge said no, and the contestant was maybe like, please, 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 like, you could maybe sway a vote. Am I correct? Do you think so?
9 times out of 10, you would sway the vote.
That's what I was thinking. I was saying, Carly, you got to start like, I don't know what, do you think like that's a bad thing to say? I feel like had she started
Here's the problem
something.
with it. The problem with it is that if they did put her through, she wouldn't have made it past the next round.
Definitely. I think so.
And that's the problem, because I don't think it's right to put people through who don't have a chance yet. And rather than tell them come back in a couple of years when you have more skills in your belt.
But I think though, like, had hypothetically she started begging, like there's a real possibility she could have did it.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe
it's happened in the past. Like this is.
I don't think it's because of the begging necessarily. I think it's because there's definitely there's Brandy and Steven on the panel, and Jello, and they didn't have any principles besides, hey, the producer told me this. So
if you're in that situation and you've got one yes and we've got one definite no and one person who's leaning towards no, is it worth kind of just going all out and like starting to beg a little bit? Like, or do you think you would because it can work a little bit. What?
I was about to say I was going to keep my dignity, but
I know there's a level of keeping your dignity, but in the past it's proven that it can work. This has been an example.
What I remember is I was actually, this is a fun story. So my cousin, I was rewatching Norman Gentle's audition.
I love that performance.
I know you're not supposed to beg, but at that he drops to his knees and says, "Please let me through."
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. I feel like she probably maybe would have had the poor girl, like she wanted to keep her dignity. I 100% respect her. But I feel like,
just edit out the part where she was begging.
Yeah, then there's also the chance that they could kind of edit you like a little bit in a poor light. But it's kind of the double standard of watching American Idol, where sometimes it can work, and in other times it'll just make you watch
her outside, so we didn't know what she got. So maybe she did beg between when they cut her outside. I'm
just saying, if it was me, I would 100% be like on my knees, like in front of Katy Perry.
I want a free trip.
I want to go to Disney.
But it's not Disney, it's Hollywood.
There's Disney in Hollywood.
No, there isn't.
Whatever. But
there's no Disney World in Hollywood or Disneyland. But
well, anyway, for me, I gave her a C+ for my ranking. She did not go through, but I wrote down she'll be back. I think we might not have seen the last of her. She's a young girl. I think a year or two, maybe she might have a shot because she is talented. Maybe it was just nerves. Maybe it was just the song. I don't know. I want to see her again. Just checking in with the chat. Azad is saying, so I'm trying to get into American Idol, and can you guys tell me 3 reasons to stay tuned to this season because I mainly watch America's Got Talent. This show is a lot better. Am I correct, Eric?
I'm not the one to ask.
More stars have come from American Idol than America's Got Talent. You got more chance of seeing a superstar. I think they treat the contestants better on American Idol than they do on America's Got Talent.
That's one.
Azad, my final three is you get more performances from the contestants. It's been whittled down a little bit.
If you like singers on these shows, Idol is the best format left for them.
On America's Got Talent,
now that The Voice is just free live shows. Free live shows. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Like you're on America's Got Talent, the champions, you saw them perform twice. On American Idol, 7, 8 more.
Well, I'd say on Idol last year, I mean, most contestants, I was counting. I'd say like top 3 got at least like 13 or 14 performances total, including repeats, but still.
I'll put it this way, Azad. If you're looking for a show that's a little bit more not as lighthearted, not as kind to the contestants, America's Got Talent's probably the show for you. But if you want to watch...
That's not how I would say it. Well, I would say that if you're looking for a show that's more variety and isn't designed for singers first, America's Got Talent. But Idol is designed to be a singing competition, so the format is structured for singers. So that's what I'd say.
I think the better way to put it is if you want to see the arc of growth of a contestant kind of starting from this one audition and going to being on that big stage, it's just so much better on American Idol. The
because you actually have time to have growth, yes.
Yeah, there's the arc. That is why I believe American Idol is a better show than America's Got Talent. But anyway, should we keep it going?
Let's talk about The Bachelor, shall we?
All right. We have this weird montage of singers kind of performing very, very slow, sleepy songs. And it kind of leads into Juan Pablo, who after a couple of
I've never watched that show, but it's all I know about the name.
Yes. This guy is all drama. He is performing Besame Mucho, which is a song that I believe was made famous by Sanjaya.
Was it really?
I don't know.
Oh God! Please tell me that's
a popular Spanish song that Sanjaya performed on American Idol. Eric, during his performance, he kind of really he puts on a lot of the emotion. This is a full-on show. Am I correct?
I didn't watch this one close enough. I saw one part where he had hit a good note, but honestly, the sad part is I remember watching the shtick afterwards a lot more than the actual performance.
Eric, are you by any chance familiar with the movie Pitch Perfect?
I am not. My sister is.
All right, so there's one scene of this movie where a bunch of kids come on stage, and it's kind of splices of them performing "Since You've Been Gone" by Kelly Clarkson. And in this mix, there's all these different types of singers. There's like the opera singer, there's the sassy singer, there's all these different kinds. And there's one of this batch that they keep kind of cutting to, and it's this girl, and she's just crying. Like she's just in the middle of singing this song. I just couldn't stop thinking of that. Like I was thinking this guy's like crying during the Kelly Clarkson "Since You've Been Gone" performance. This was a little very weird for me. I was watching this going, what am I watching? What's going on? Like he is just, it felt very put on to me, Eric. Did you get that vibe?
I don't know. I mean, the shtick with Katy Perry was painful to watch, I'd say. I mean, if I took that out, I'd give it honestly a B because the vocals were pretty good, but that took it down like a C+ for me.
I couldn't get it. Was just weird. This was a weird performance. I actually ended up giving it a C. He was going for the dramatics, and it just was kind of coming across a little bit either overbaked or not entirely genuine a little bit, which either way is a little rough. Is kind of my vibe, but I would have maybe said no, honestly, which is weird. This is the first time of the season where I probably would have said no to a contestant that got through.
Really?
Yeah, I think
there are several times for that for me, but okay.
Yeah, and the shtick with Katy Perry, I mean, this was just weird. I was like, what am I watching? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's really all I got for Juan Pablo, though, for me.
Okay, I didn't get much from either. Now I have a lot to say about the next one, though, so.
I do, too. We are talking about Shay Wynn. Is that? Am I correct? That's her name.
I know Shay. I don't know the last name.
All right. Well, if that is her last name, Shay Wynn, like that's a pretty cool name. Like,
Yeah. I know her two eyes. That's all I know.
Yeah. So this is a singer. She is from Midlothian. Am I correct? Midlothian. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but this is another one of our big story contestants of the night. She has America's Got Talent pulls out all the stops to tell her story. She has this, when she was younger, she suddenly kind of went blind because she had a tumor, I believe, in her brain. Really a terrible story, Eric. Just terrible, right?
Yeah, you could see it that way. It depends. It's so tough for me. Because she has a great voice. It's not mind-blowingly great. I do think it was actually my favorite audition of the episode from a pure talent perspective, personally. The judges, however, we have to talk about them because it was pretty patronizing to me. Lionel in particular was pretty damn painful to watch. There's a term I'm going to use now that I learned from work. And I work for a disability rights nonprofit for those who are tuning in for the first time. And it's called inspiration porn, and it is not what you think. It's not actual pornography, despite my friend running an amazing Twitter account, basically turning it into pornography as a joke. I'm gonna plug that now. But so not like actual like pornography, but like talking about pictures of inspiration porn as if it's actual porn. It's hilarious. But so the problem with it is that it's focusing on people with disabilities for just being inspirational without actually focusing on what they're doing well. And Lionel basically didn't comment on the singing at all, as far as I can tell. And it bugged me.
Eric, that's just American Idol a little bit. That's in more times than not, the story is going to trump the singing.
But yes, I get that. But the problem with it was that the singing wasn't the focus at all. And the particular problem with that was the singing was pretty damn great, in my view.
Yeah. She performs, I didn't say this before, she performs Rise Up by Andra Day. Beautiful. Yeah, like
wonderful voice. And that's where the focus should have been. You could talk about the fact that she's blind, but you only need to focus almost exclusively on that at expense of just making it about her story instead of making it about the fact that she's got a great voice. Kind of bugs me.
There were some notes that were magic that she hit. Like this girl, she is really, really good, like really talented. She earned my first A of the season, I think, if I'm correct. I gave the one girl, Myra from last week, I think I gave her an A minus, but I gave Shayla an A. Like this was my first A of the season. This girl she's really good.
The thing is, I actually gave her a B plus. I do like her a lot. She was my favorite of the night, but I only gave it a B plus. But the judges, I mean, just so torn because it's so great to see her, and they did treat her better than they treated Scott McIntyre. Remember when Brian tried to give her the high? Remember that?
I didn't watch that season. Season
8, yeah. The whole joke for the whole season was that Ryan tried to high five Scott McIntyre when Scott McIntyre was blind.
It's like
as hell and really painful to watch.
That reminds me of in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Are you familiar? There's a blind character and they keep throwing like papers. Make her
funny. In front of but I've seen that. They give her funny dialogue.
Yeah, that character is one of my favorite animation characters of all time. Honestly, that's Toph Beifong. But anyway. One thing that stood out in her intro package, she talks about after returning to school after kind of this terrible experience happened to her where she became blind. Kids actually bullied her. Like, what kind of crazy person do you have to be? She said like they would push her and take her stick. What kind of crazy person does that?
I fast forwarded for that part, but that's I'm gonna curse now. That's fucked up.
How sick do you have to be to like? Oh, that was just like bothered me. Like, who does that? What crazy person does that? But unfortunately, those kinds of people exist, which kind of just ruins your faith in humanity at some point. So, but anyway, let's focus on the positive here. She gets through. She is a phenomenal singer. She's got my A from the first day of the season. and I'm excited to see what comes next for her.
Me too.
Any final thoughts?
Nope. Because we'll hopefully more time to talk about her.
Azad in the chat says, I agree with both of you, but I don't know how you can compare a singing show to a variety show. There's an audience for both, but it feels more people watch America's Got Talent. Anyways, I'll tune in this year. Well, if for no other reason, you could tune in for our podcast, Azad. I can say that. We enjoy your commentary in the chat. Otherwise, I don't know. I understand what you're saying, but it's a variety show. Like I like singers. I want a whole show on them. Like I like that. This is something I enjoy.
I like the idea that both shows exist.
They both have a place on the television networks. For me, I like singers. I want to watch a show that is just singers. I also want to watch a variety show. But this is the perfect show for that because it gives us an arc of these contestants and we can follow them as they kind of go from these kids who just come into the audition room and kind of leave it, maybe heading for superstardom. You never know if they're actually going to make it big, but there's a chance. I was going to do a Big Brother reference, but you wouldn't get it. Anyway.
I would not. Okay. Let's talk about Katie doing push-ups real fast.
We got to talk about one person before we could get to that. We get the show kind of comes back from the commercial and we get a 7-year-old auditioner. And that is another reason I like American Idol better than America's Got Talent. I don't have to be mean to children. Like this is a 7-year-old singer.
She actually doesn't really audition.
Yeah, she doesn't really audition, but I like that American Idol has mostly adults. Like it's more.
I like that the minimum is like 15 on Idol. That's a good minimum.
That's a good minimum. I would maybe
16, but
I would raise it 16 to 30.
I would raise the maximum to 30. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a maximum. I would just have a minimum.
I wouldn't. I could see both arguments. Like I understand.
I think no maximum is. I think there definitely needs to be a minimum. But
maybe that's I don't know. Anyway, but for the 7, I don't even have her name, but she sings a rendition of this the national anthem.
She went viral months ago. This was months ago. I remember her.
Can you tell me what happened? How did she go viral?
She sang the national anthem. And she went viral for doing it.
All right. Well, anyway, let's just keep it going. Let's talk about Landon Knowlton. He is a 23-year-old Army sergeant. 23. That's like he's got to join like right out of high school. Like
yeah,
it's crazy. But he is, like I said, he's a sergeant in the Army. He comes from a military family, and I got to tell you. American Idol does a lot of shtick, and most of the time I hate the shtick, but this shtick was kind of good. I enjoyed this. He kind of runs through his drills with the judges. He kind of makes them start doing push-ups. He teaches them how to stand at ease. He kind of does the military barking. I enjoyed this segment. Did you, Eric?
I kind of fast-forwarded through it, honestly.
Well, I enjoyed it. It was funny.
Okay.
If they're gonna have shtick, make me laugh. And this got me.
All
right.
If you're gonna have shtick, make you laugh, but I'd rather not have shtick.
All right. Well, he performs "Washed by the Water" by Need to Breathe. I got to tell you, when I saw this audition, I was kind of expecting it to kind of be all shtick and kind of no like horse. You know the saying where it's kind of like. The shtick is why he's in the episode, and it's not maybe for the singing.
Horse. That's not
a little bit. That should be the title of this episode.
100%.
What?
Yeah.
But this guy ended up being really good. This was one of the better performances of the episode. I actually think he did a really good job. What did you think how he did?
It was good. I'm first of all glad that he served our country. Very grateful that anyone who serves. Because I wouldn't.
Me neither.
Didn't you see Katy Perry doing push-ups? His voice isn't spectacular. I got a little bit of a Lee DeWise vibe from him somehow.
It was solid. I think
it was good. I mean, it wasn't spectacular.
It was better than I was expecting it to be.
I gave it a B-.
I gave it a B+. Like, it was good. He's on my list. He's second to Shay. it's pretty good.
Okay.
I really enjoyed this performance. I am a little worried that we might not see him maybe further on into the episode, and maybe my worry that this is kind of all shtick and no horse kind of going forward. Where
That's not a phrase. That can't be a phrase.
You know what I'm saying a little bit. Like they included him for the shtick of this, and then they're gonna just maybe unceremoniously cut him in the next round.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think?
Okay.
Am I crazy, or is that I'm crazy?
No, you're not crazy.
All right,
you're not crazy.
All right. Well, let's keep it going. We've only got 3 more auditioners. I got to tell you, this was a good episode. I enjoyed this. But next up, we have Ethan Payne. He is a 15-year-old singer from Macon, Georgia. He has this whole story where he is another story contestant of the night. There were a lot of them in this episode. He has cystic fibrosis, which is a lung condition. It results in you having, I believe it's a lot of mucus in your lungs, and it makes it hard to breathe, and you can have these terrible flare-ups. It's a really terrible condition. It's incurable, and it dramatically shortens your lifespan and how long you're going to live. And when he starts talking, his voice, like I don't know if it was just me. I almost heard it. Like his voice sounds a little, I don't know if this is just because he's like at that age, but I heard it in his voice. Like he had that little, his voice was a little different. Did you get that vibe, Eric?
I didn't really. What I got from him is that he's extremely likable, and I'm happy he's doing well health-wise for now. Hopefully stays doing well for a long time. Really weird that Luke actually remembers him. I'm not sure if that's true or not. If he actually did remember him, or if
Pish posh.
What?
They probably told him ahead of time. Maybe he didn't remember, but this
kid's got boatloads of personality, though.
Yeah, he's another contestant that I think he might also be that Sam Wolf role. I feel like there's going to be maybe a time
to be it, honestly, because again, he's not the type of person I would ever listen to outside of Idol, but he's really likable. So much personality, so much confidence. Really, really like him as a person. Not a huge fan of the voice.
He's very comparable to me with him and Logan. There was a comparison there that I was thinking a lot about, and I think it might come down to one of them filling that Sam Wolf kind of archetype, the teen heartthrob of Logan's not really a teen, but that kind of category for like the younger girls, and maybe I think he might be a bit of a threat should he get that though. I think for me, he is another one of those cases where the story kind of overshadows the singing, because for his performance, which was a Luke Bryan song, which he performed with Luke Bryan, Do I, it was serviceable, which is all it needed to be for his audition. It wasn't the best, but it was good enough. What do you think, Eric?
Here's my thing. Again, sort of inspiration porn verging on that in this one too. Which again bugged me, because can it just be that he's got tons of personality and he's talented? I mean, Katy Perry, good for her for putting the focus where it belongs. The fact that he has a ton of confidence and is really talented. So
I think he's someone to watch. I think he might fill that role. I don't know. I don't see him making top 5, but I think he's got a shot of top 10 if he gets to those rounds. I see a lot of people rallying behind him, but for me, I gave him a B-.
Same here.
Yeah, that's kind of my opinion. I didn't have that many notes about him. He's good. He's solid. He's a country singer, which isn't kind of my cup of tea, but he's someone I think people will root for.
We'll see.
All right. Well, we got 2 more auditions left. I actually, the funny story about this last audition, I actually watched only a minute of it before we went live. Eric did not watch it, but it was this very weird segment. We're going to talk about it really quickly. It was a married couple who they performed the song. It was a Disney classic song. It was so This Is Love, I think is what it was, and it was just neither of them end up getting through, but it's edited with Disney birds, and there's one on Katy Perry. It was a very weird segment, but they don't make it through, and that's really all that needs to be said.
Okay.
All right.
Let's talk about the greatest audition in Idol history.
Like I said earlier in the show,
as an insult.
I have a lot of notes. Like there's a lot of notes for Alejandro Aranda, also known as Scary Pool Party. He is a singer. He's 24 years old from Pomona, California. Eric, this is the best American Idol audition ever. Forget anyone else. American Idol says he is the best audition ever. Did he live up to the hype for you? I think I asked you this earlier.
No, he did not. And here's my problem. If they didn't hype him up like that, I might have liked him. But the problem is when you hype him up like that and they just okay, it's problematic for me because I really wanted to like him because parts of him I really, really did like, but parts I didn't. And I'm sorry to say that. And it's like, it's like it's so difficult.
All right.
Let's see what you have to say.
What I have to say is, was he the best American Idol audition of all time? No. But he was really damn good. That's what I have. This dude's really talented. He performs 2 songs, one on the guitar, which I said I absolutely love that song. I've downloaded it. I listened to it a lot. The piano song that he did afterwards, not nearly as good. The intro was very he was kind of below the notes. It was not at all as good. But that first performance I thought was magic. I thought it was really good. And I got to tell you, he's one of my favorites. This dude's really, really talented. Damn good audition. His hair color kind of reminded me of Taylor Hicks. Am I the only one, Eric?
I wasn't
like a little gray.
Yes.
What?
The Taylor Hicks was like solid gray.
Yeah, but I also love during this audition, Luke Bryan kind of has this like stank face almost. And that was kind of my audition when I watched my reaction when I was watching it. Like I kind of had that same reaction, and then it's Luke Bryan. And it was the same reaction. This dude, his picking on his guitar, he's really good at this. Like I tried to learn.
His guitar playing is phenomenal. His piano playing was pretty great too.
He does it without a pick. He uses his fingers. Like his
guitar is phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
His piano is phenomenal. His voice is not for me. His voice is just okay.
I love that they asked him what his inspirations were, who his inspirations were, and one of them was Bach.
Who?
I gotta laugh at me. Like the classical Bach. Like like that got a smile out of me. I'm just looking over my notes. He says one thing during his audition that it really lasted with me even beyond his audition. He says, I think it was Katy Perry who asked, do you think you're special, or do you know you're special? And Alejandro says, I don't think I'm special. I'm just hardworking. And that's like a beautiful line for me. Like I love that line. Like that you don't need to be special, but you could be hardworking kind of can make you special, and you won't even realize it.
About that, because his voice, which is the thing you can't really work hard to get, isn't special. His guitar playing, special. Definitely very special. And shows that he really worked hard at it. I just wish his voice was better. It's so annoying because his guitar playing was phenomenal. His piano playing was phenomenal. His voice was just okay. And it bugs me.
I said this before. There's a dark possibility that this could flip, Eric. Like he is riding on so much goodwill that if one subpar performance is upcoming, it could be like the rug being pulled out under him, and everyone could be like, "Oh,
I don't think we're gonna pull the rug out under him." The producers clearly are in love with this guy.
I really enjoy him too. He is a really good singer. Like in my like bracket of favorite contestants, he's there. And I'll be honest, I gave, just for the guitar song, I gave it an A. Like I really enjoyed this performance. I've rewatched it a couple of times. I gave
the first song. If I'm isolating the guitar playing, I'd give that an A+, honestly. It was phenomenal. If
Beautiful.
I'm isolating the vocals, I'd give it a C.
Catherine Turner in the chat is saying, I liked him, but I agree with Eric. Voice okay, but musically incredible. It's a fair assessment. I agree with you. I love his songwriting. That first song, the second song, not so much, which by the way, he says, I haven't played piano in a while, but I'll give it a try. And he plays beautifully.
That's bullshit. That's okay. You can lie once. We have to talk. Why did Luke compare him to Forrest Gump? Where did that come from?
It's like on The Masked Singer when they just start shouting names.
Are you Lady Gaga? You know, because Lady Gaga would consider going on this show. Actually, she might consider going on that show, but she's not a good example.
Sometimes the judges just say things. Yeah, I don't know. But like I said, Alejandro, very special singer, one of my favorites. I gave this advice to Logan earlier. He needs to stay to his wheelhouse. He needs to understand his talent and stick to where he can excel. I don't want him to feel that now he's got all this hype kind of pushing him forward to try to go bigger. And I think that is the exact opposite of what he should do. I think he needs to stay small, stay intimate with his performances. The thing is, I'm a little worried what's going to happen when he starts doing songs that aren't his own. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking an Ed Sheeran kind of route. I'm thinking like
that's definitely the route he's going to go down. He's going to
John Legend, like those.
No, not John Legend. I don't think. He's going to do like the wake up guitar standard practice thing.
And I got to tell you, this is, I think, one of our first kind of viral contestants that have kind of been getting some press.
I will say they hyped him up enough that he would go viral just for that.
And I'm a fan. I'm okay with it. Like this.
I mean, it's so tough because I just wish his voice was better, but I really, really like him overall.
All right, Eric, this is gonna be a hard question, but I'm gonna pose it to you anyway. Does he make top 5?
Yes.
Does he make top 3?
If they don't let the hype go, possibly.
I think he has a shot. Eric, I think he could win. I think there's a chance he could win. It depends on where he goes from here. If he picks the right songs and he can kind of stick and carve out his niche, this might be.
If he can get some vocal coaching, maybe they can break something out of his voice and make it better. But it's so tough. I mean,
he reminds me a little bit like a male version of Maddie. Like it's kind of that indie a little bit where it's kind of your own little lane that you can carve out. He's giving me like a male Maddie vibes. Like that is what I'm seeing with him. And this is a diamond in the rough that they got here. And I think he is. This is something special here.
We'll see. I'm not rushing the judgment. I'm saying his guitar playing and his piano playing are special already. We'll see about his voice. I'm worried.
So like I said, this was a talentful episode, in my opinion. There was a lot of good contestants. Eric, I'm going to pose this question to you. If you had to pick 3 favorite auditions from this episode, who you going with?
Tough. I'm going. Well, Shay's number 1. 100% for me. Shay's number 1. It's tough. I'm looking at my grades, and I'd say Courtney might be number 2, and Alejandro is probably number 3.
If you're watching along with us, let us know in the chat who were your favorite 3 contestants from this episode, and we'll go ahead and compare them. Shall we, Eric? So wait, you said it was Alejandro, Shay, and who was your 3rd?
Alejandro's my 3rd.
Who was your 2nd or
Courtney,
first?
I say honestly, I don't even know.
It's funny. I'm going to agree. I'm going to say Alejandro, Shay, and I'm going to put a tie between Courtney and Eddie Island is going to be. Yeah, I'm going to break the rules.
I'm thinking.
These are good talent. This is good talent, Eric. I don't know.
I think Shay was the best of the night, though.
Personally.
I know what you think.
Musically, vocally, she was the best of the night. I have a bias towards Courtney and Alejandro and Eddie. Those 4 contestants are this takeaway of this episode for me. They are who I'm most looking forward to, and I'm going to remember moving forward.
And the takeaway of this podcast episode is pish tosh. Sometimes we just say things.
And what was it? All shtick and no horse or something.
I got rid of that one. I'm just doing pitch toss. Sometimes we just say things. That's our title.
You know what? I like it. Other than that, any final thoughts on the episode? Any news you're looking forward to that's idol related moving forward?
I'm looking forward to seeing 2 new episodes this week. There should be some good contestants, I hope. I'm seeing 2 idols this weekend. I mean, technically, if you count Thursday, it's part of the weekend, which I don't. But I'm seeing Crystal Bowersox Thursday. I'm seeing Kelly on Saturday. I'm so excited to see Kelly again.
What is the schedule for American Idol moving forward? Are there 2 more episodes?
Sunday, Monday this week.
Sunday, Monday this week. Well, we broke this news a little earlier, but I am very excited. Oh, Grace Sweeney says only Sunday this week and next. There you go.
Really?
That's what Grace says.
Okay. Well, awesome.
All right. Well, we have, we mentioned this earlier. We are going to be joined by a guest on Tuesday. We are going to be joined by Skylar Dixon, who is a contestant I'm so excited to have on the show. She is a super fan of American Idol. She has been watching the show. She watches a lot of TV that I watch also. She watches Big Brother. I am very excited to have her insight from a former contestant to join us, not just for an interview at the beginning of the show, but to also recap. I'm excited to kind of probe her brain and see what she's thinking about the season, what she's liking, the contestants. I'm excited for this upcoming week of Idol is what I can say, Eric.
I'm hoping it's always has to be more good talent. So
all right. Grace Sweeney says in the chat, yes, because The Bachelor isn't over yet. And Grace says it's from 7 to 9 tomorrow. It's a weird time.
Really? That'd be awesome if that's true.
We could go live afterwards, Eric.
If it ends at 9, we can definitely go live tomorrow.
Grace, if you got confirmation, let you know.
I'll look.
If you're 100% on it, let us know. Otherwise, I guess I'm gonna say to our viewers, this was fun. I enjoy having the chat to kind of have this back and forth. If you watch us, join us for the chat. Let us hear what you're thinking. We like to interact with you guys. It makes these podcasts a lot more fun, and it's awesome. And Grace says she's looking on TV Guide right now. So other than that,
and then it starts at 8 tomorrow. But Grace, you might be at Central Time. Sorry.
All right. Well, I want to say to our viewers, I am Adam Samuel. You can find me on Twitter at AdamSoapbox or on my 2 websites, AdamSoapbox.com and AdamsTVVlog.com. I have a new short story. It was released a week and a half ago. You can check it out on my blog. It's my Soapbox blog. Where can we find you, Eric?
EricAscher.com, EricAscher01 on YouTube, Eric_Ascher on Twitter. And I'll have some videos up on YouTube from both Crystal and Kelly this weekend. So I'm super excited.
Eric, any final thoughts? Any last minute things you want to talk about?
Not this week. I'm just a good week from idol-related concerts for me. So I'm excited for this week.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to wrap this up right now and say once again to our viewers, thank you so much. One last thing I just remembered. Eric does our iTunes episodes. He works on putting them together. Check them out on iTunes, Spotify, FeedBurner, everywhere that they should be. If they're not on a channel, let us know and we will add them there. Like I said, Eric puts a lot of effort into not just naming the podcast, but also editing them down. He is a strong member of the team. So thank you again, as always, for your contributions, Eric.
No problem. And this one's going to be fun to edit. So
all right.
I'm just adding chapters this week and cutting out the first 20 seconds.
All right. You know, I'm so mad at myself that I messed that up. To our viewers, I always get so stressed. Like the 30 seconds before we go live.
But that's the thing. No one listening to a podcast is ever going to know about this. This is a bonus for
YouTube. On YouTube. If you watch it on YouTube, you'll see it.
This is a bonus for YouTube viewers.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, until next time, guys, this was fun. Peace.